If you are not getting adjusted, your muscles aren't functioning at its optimal. Now we have a new diagnosis called text neck. So you're seeing a lot of people down on their phones or tablets. Even just like a car hitting you from behind that's at 5 miles per hour can give you whiplash injury. Pain where you show that pain is not exactly where the root cause of the pain could be. It could be on the opposite side.
Hey there, I'm Colby and welcome back to Hold My Briefcase. You know, in my line of work, I see a lot of people who've been hurt physically, financially, and sometimes both. And here's what I've learned. Getting your body right is just important as getting your legal case right. Now, today's guest gets that connection better than anyone. Dr. Shinel Dcunha is the founder of Rhythm Rehab Chiropractic. And she's not just helping people feel better, she's helping them move better, recover smarter, and rebuild their lives after injury. We're gonna dive into her story, her approach to healing, and why the relationship between your lawyer and doctor can help make or break your recovery. So, Dr. Dcunha, what first drew you to the chiropractic care?
I guess my journey to chiropractic care is kind of starts from when I was really young. I started dancing and I've always just been really active. I played volleyball in middle school, did swimming. And then as I got into college, I was in like 2 different dance teams. I saw a lot of injuries, a lot of ACL tears, meniscus tears, shoulder dislocations, freak accidents in dance company. And then as I got done with college, I was shadowing both PT and chiros just to I always knew that I wanted to be in that field. I was just always into the physical body and anatomy. And then when I shadowed this chiropractor, I just loved the autonomy that chiropractors had. And he had a really big business at that point and he adjusted me. That was the moment that I was like, this is it. Like, I see myself doing this. That adjustment was actually my first adjustment ever. It just felt so great standing up off of the table. Like, up until that point, I had used and abused my body, but getting that brain to spinal cord and spinal nerve connection was unlike anything else. And that was the moment that I was like, this is what I want to do.
Now, when you said you use and you abuse your body, in dance, what kind of dance were you doing in college that was so damaging to your body?
When you're in a collegiate competitive dance team, we did mostly Bollywood, but that entailed a lot of different types of dance as well. So we did hip hop, jazz, and a little bit of lyrical, contemporary. I mean, there were days that we practiced like 5 days a week. With that comes a lot of, overuse injuries, a lot of strains, sprains, and especially if you're not taking care of your body at that point, get a lot of injuries.
The adjustment was really helpful to you because you hadn't been taking care of your body up until then?
I did. I mean, as far as like rest, ice, if you like strained something, rest, ice, doing the whole rice and compression. And as far as getting an adjustment wasn't something that was normal to me at that point. And as you know, the spine houses the rest of your nerves that gives blood flow to the rest of your body. If you are not getting adjusted, your muscles aren't functioning at its optimal. Getting that first adjustment opened my eyes to what the spine holds and how much power I can actually have. It wasn't that I was terribly unhealthy by that point. It just was that I wasn't functioning up to my optimal.
When you got out of school and training for being a chiropractor, started your own practice right away, or did you work under others?
I worked quite a few associateships. Worked at the Joint for a little bit, worked under 2 other PI clinics for 2 other doctors. I just always knew that I wanted to have my own clinic and wanted to run things my own way. It took me about a year and a half, to like get money, savings, and get the proper spot, and then finally opened up this year.
So what made you want to break away and open up your own practice?
I guess it's also just like finding gaps within chiropractic itself. While I'm working for for, different people. Obviously, everyone has a specific way that they want their practice run, and they wanted things done really quickly. I wasn't able to provide all of my expertise into how I can help. Usually with my own patients, I like to spend at least 20 minutes doing some type of soft tissue therapy, so doing Graston, trigger point work. I wanted it to be individualized care and not just like a machine that's just in and out.
What's the bigger mission then behind Rhythm Rehab?
My motivation for even starting was dance. I believe that each person has their own rhythm, their own flow, right? My bigger mission with Rhythm Rehab and Chiro is first to start that individualized care with each person. And what I'm seeing less and less of is people not having a community to come back to. I wanted to grow to a space where I hold different classes, like I'll do yoga classes, meditation, dance, or even doing socials. I want to build like a community around it. I also want to show people that listening to your body shouldn't be that difficult. I feel like a lot of people get lost in their day-to-day activities. Part of what I want to teach is also coming back into your body and listening to your body.
Speaking of things you can't see looking at somebody, when you see someone who walks into your office for the first time, where are they mentally and emotionally?
My initial consultation will last around 60 minutes. I'm diving deep into your history, your injuries when you were a child, your traumas, diet, health, everything, your stress levels at home, work. It can be from decades ago, but your body's still holding on to that.
What kind of injuries walk through your door most often?
I guess a lot of sedentary jobs is what I'm seeing. Upper trap, tightness, stiffness, and then your flexor muscles are pretty weak. Now we have a new diagnosis called text neck. So you're seeing a lot of people down on their phones or tablets. I see a lot of those type of injuries. It's just part of my treatment plan is also always checking in with their goals of like, what are we doing for rehab? We're doing exercises, we're doing stretches.
I see a lot of people who have neck injuries. It's very common where the damage isn't always felt until some time later.
Yeah. That initial moment, obviously, even with like car accidents, your adrenaline is rushing. A lot of the times when I ask patients of like, okay, what happened during the accident? Most of the time it's a blank. Even just like a car hitting you from behind that's at 5 miles per hour can give you whiplash injuries. That can create long lasting effects, even sometimes months later on.
So let's talk about root cause care. How is that different from just masking the pain? Because in my world, we call that putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
Pain in your body is, I always say it's like a smoke alarm. So our job is to find what is causing the smoke and not just put out the alarm. Pills like Tylenol, painkillers, it's just masking. And people don't realize that pain, where you show that pain, is not exactly where the root cause of the pain could be. It could be on the opposite side. My focus is never just on the pain, but people also think getting out of pain is, okay, I'm all better. It's not really how that works.
Besides that, how do you, doctor, blend the rehab within the chiropractic care?
A lot of people do think they just walk into my office for a quick adjustment and that's it, never going to see you again. And that has been a lot of people's experience with chiropractic. What comes with the rehab is all of that soft tissue. The adjustment is just going to take care of the spine. It's going to take care of your joints. So what we do with the adjustment is making sure that your body's in proper alignment. And that doesn't mean just the spine, but like shoulder, ankle. So if you're not addressing, like you said, the root cause, but also if you're not addressing the muscles and the fascia, then your body's just going to go back into wanting to settle to what it's used to doing. So the rehab portion comes in where we do the soft tissue therapy, getting that lactic acid out of your muscles, then going into adjustments. The later part is doing exercise therapy and stretches specifically for each person.
What's the biggest misconceptions people have about recovery? The thing that makes you want to shake them and say, that's not how this works?
I think a lot of people, after they get injured, they get really afraid of going back into doing things that they normally used to do. They're used to having that Band-Aid type of therapy, right? Like, okay, I'll take a pill, I'll feel better. That's the biggest misconception. Suggest that they can go back into therapy, like they can go back into doing the exercise that caused them that pain.
Now, when somebody asks, takes how long until I'm 100%? What do you tell them?
It changes person to person, but a lot of times, because that psychosomatic segment matters so much, I do always make sure to give them a positive note, because I don't like telling people you're never going to get back to normal, right?
It's interesting because when we talk to juries and we tell juries about pain, the other side will often, try to use images or video they may capture. She's not in pain, she can do this. Do you see that a lot in your practice?
People come in with a lot of chronic pain, right? I can think of one patient that came in, been in pain, psychosomatic type of pain since they were 10, 11 years old, something traumatic
Wow.
driven.
Wow.
Yeah, and even headaches, migraines that they've had consistently since 10 or 11 years old. And they're just thinking, yeah, this is just something that happened and it's just my way of life at this point.
Some people, unfortunately, they don't have insurance. They can't afford the bill, they think. And they still are scared to go to an urgent care clinic. And I know that some people go to see you as a first line. So that's something you see in your practice?
I have had that when I was working as an associate at a PI clinic. Patients that came in, no insurance, and they came in straight to see us. I mean, sometimes, yeah, they're bruised in the shoulder. Obviously, something is wrong. It's really important to work hand in hand with other healthcare practitioners when it comes to big cases like that.
Yeah, and speaking of working hand to hand, when you've dealt with the attorneys, how can clients benefit when their legal and medical teams actually communicate? Because I've seen what happens when they don't, and it's not pretty.
That was also another issue with some of the PI sector, is that I would hear a lot of complaints from the patient, oh, the lawyer didn't know this, so-and-so didn't get my paperwork, and we haven't communicated in a long time. So I think establishing what we are doing, right? Making sure that we have a proper connection first before bringing in to help other patients and people.
You've been dealing with helping patients for quite a while now. Do you see this as a calling or just a really good career choice?
It's definitely a calling. I truly can't imagine doing anything else with my life. And I love helping people, and I love chiropractic because it marries the individual with medicine, but also holistic type of care.
They say that at the end of the day, it's not all the things that you've read or all the cars you've got, it's just the people you've helped. Now we're up to the lightning round. If you weren't cracking spines for a living, what would you be doing?
I would probably do something in dancing.
What's one thing your patients would never guess about you?
I don't know. My age? I really don't know.
I love it. Morning person or night owl? And please don't say you do yoga at 5 a.m.
Oh God, no, that's not me. Yeah, definitely night person. I even do night runs because I can't do morning.
Theme song for your career, something that plays in your head when you're going about to work your magic.
I don't know why this came to my head, but here comes the sun.
What's the wildest injury you've ever treated?
I'd have to say a nutated coccyx. And what that means is, so the sacrum and the coccyx, it's supposed to be kind of neutral. When it's nutated, that coccyx tucks under. That was an interesting, because they're experiencing so much pain and constipation, but I had to do it with the sacrum. I had never seen that before.
If you could adjust one thing about the world, either literally or figuratively, what would it be?
Patriarchy in some cultures. Obviously with Indian culture too, but patriarchy.
Coffee or tea? Now, this is important for our friendship.
Coffee.
Of course, everybody's a coffee drinker. If your spine could talk, what would it say to people who ignore their back pain?
Come on, what are you doing? Get it together.
What's your go-to excuse when somebody asks you to look at their little ache at a dinner party?
Oh my God, I hear that all the time. Come see me in my office.
There you go. The one and only person who's going to see this is my mom. So you have to wave hi to my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Dr. Dcunha, this has been incredible. Thank you for sharing not only just your expertise, but Also your heart for helping people heal the right way. To everyone listening, if you're dealing with an injury, remember this. Your recovery isn't just about getting better. It's about getting the care you deserve and the results you need. That's a wrap on today's Hold My Briefcase. Keep taking care of yourself. Keep asking the tough questions. And remember, knowledge is your best defense. Until next time, this is Colby. I'll catch you on the next episode.